Top Trump ally Steve Bannon must report to prison by Monday. The Supreme Court on Friday denied Bannon's request to stay out of jail while he appeals his contempt of Congress conviction. Bannon is expected to serve his 4-month sentence at this low-security prison in Danbury, Connecticut, but sources say it's no picnic there. Joining us now is prison consultant Justin Paperny. He's the founder and director of White Collar Advice. Justin, thanks for being here. Do you know what this prison specifically is like?
We know what Danbury is like. It looks like a prison in Connecticut. Looks very akin to a prison in California. They're very similar. It's going to come down to his routine, how he adjusts, and more importantly, he's got to avoid problems. Bannon has frequently said no prison or jail can shut him up. He has to understand how prison staff can view a statement like that as he pursues his activities probably 24 hours a day.
That's interesting because, as you know, Bannon is famous for using overheated rhetoric, on vitriol on his podcast. He talks about going on the attack. He talks about the war room, blah, blah, blah. So will he be able to be a big fish there?
Well, look, he probably has some regret he didn't go in earlier because we're in an imaginary prison. Before you go in, we don't get credit for it. Also, he would have had a bigger impact on the election had he gotten it over with. So he has that regret. We have to understand the Bureau of Prisons is concerned about security of the institution, keeping costs down. They're understaffed at this prison. For these reasons, they don't want any problems, okay? You have Democrats and Republicans, if you agree on few things. They both agree the BOP handled COVID poorly, the Epstein debacle and conspiracy. So if they think he's at risk of causing problems, they can just send him to segregation for 120 days. So you can expect some staff to be sympathetic towards him. Certainly as a former lieutenant in the Navy, veterans will welcome him, but they do not want problems. And if he says things over the phone, via email, of course, phone calls are recorded, emails are saved. He can call into his podcast from prison, as I did from federal prison in 2008. If anything threatens security of the institution, they say, have a nice day. We're sending you to segregation for 120 days. In either way, he wins, whether he's in segregation or he serves his time in the regular compound. Either way, it benefits and advances his agenda or message.
Oh, well, in that case, do you have advice for him for these 4 months?
I would advise him to what is success for him. Most people go to prison, they want to lay low, get through it, avoid problems, prove worthy of the love and support of their family. I read where he said, I won't be exercising. I'm not hitting the weights. I'm not getting prison swole. He will be working. Other than sleeping, eating, and doing his prison job, he is going to be advancing his agenda. And my advice would be to understand the consequences that follow every decision on the inside. Then, as my business partner, Michael Santos, who served 26 years, encouraged me to do, own every choice that follows, defend it, but understand his goals may be different than the warden's goals. That much I can tell you.
He's supposed to be serving 4 months. Is that really 4 months, or might he be able to lessen that with good behavior?
No good time if you get sentenced to a year or less. Additionally, because he was not sentenced to any term of supervision, ironically and unfortunately for him, he does not qualify for the First Step Act that President Trump signed in late 2018. So he's going to serve 120 days, less the 1 day he probably got for his arraignment, 119 days.
He says that prison will not change him. Is that possible? Are there some people who sail through this experience and come out unchanged?
Absolutely. There are people that go out unchanged. And with what he's been through in his life, the ups and downs, the drama, the attention, this will be a little blip in his life. If anything, he'll probably use it to advance his agenda and to talk more about the injustices that have come that way. And whether you agree with the injustices or not, I would remind him, you would not be the only person who ever served time on the wrong side of prison boundaries who endured an injustice. There will be people there for measurably longer than him who also do not agree with their sentence, and they will be looking at how he responds. Does he complain? Does he criticize long-term prisoners who have endured worse? It would not get off to the best start if he did that. So I don't think it will change him. If anything, I only think it will help him and his agenda.
Justin Paperny, very interesting perspective. Thank you.
Thank you.